I have a serious question. Please answer this in the comment section for me. Can it get any worse than this? Man, oh man, it is a bad day to be an LSU Tigers fan. They have some major issues going on within that team. Things are getting worse for LSU and Brian Kelly, and when I say worse, I'm not even referring to that loss to Florida State. What we're going to talk about and go over today, yes, some of it does involve what happened during the game, but other stuff, it's not looking good. We also got to speak on another topic that has everybody talking, and it's no other than the AP poll. It just came out today. Yeah, it is interesting to say the least. Real quick though, we're on the road to 300K, and there's a bunch of you watching that you're either new to the channel or simply not subscribed. If you like the content, and we're going to talk about plenty more college football content as the season continues to go on, consider subscribing to the channel. It helps us out tremendously. Whenever we do gain new subscribers, it lets me know that new people out there, you're enjoying the content as well. I would love to have you a part of the community and family we're building on this channel. We're on the road to 300K. All right, blah, 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 blah. Matt, shut the crap up, and now without further ado, let's get into it. Why did I say it like that? All right, without further ado, let's get into it. That's not, let's get, whatever, let's get into it. Trust me, I want to get into this juicy drama LSU nonsense going on, but let's go over the AP poll first and get that out the way. Looking at 25 all the way up into 15, nothing too controversial, nothing really to talk about. Here's where things start to get debatable though. At 12, you see Florida, who previously wasn't even ranked. You also see that Utah is right behind them. I don't have a problem with it. Beating a top 7 team, even though it was at home, put them at 12. Who cares? Doesn't bother me. Continuing to go up here, USC jumped up 4 spots into the top 10. They did crack that, but here we go. We got Notre freaking Dame at 8. I don't want to get amped up, and I don't want to scream. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Here's all I'm going to say about this. I've stated this before on the channel a couple months ago. I think Notre Dame should be banned from being ranked inside the top 10. They should also be banned from being allowed into the playoff. I don't know why people rank Notre Dame so high. I guess it's based off of stuff they did in the 1900s. Unless something changes, they have been, and more than likely, will always be one of the most overrated teams in the country. Ohio State didn't even play that good of a game, and you still lost by double digits. If you want to throw Notre Dame anywhere from 11 to 15, that's cool, but they should never be allowed inside the top 10. Can't change my mind. Texas A&M, they stayed the same. Not too much to say there. Clemson dropped, but here we go. What do you know? Michigan went up 4 spots to number 4. Can somebody explain to me why Michigan, the team who doesn't even have a quarterback, went up 4 spots to number 4? Seriously, now what is this? I think Clemson, they look shaky and they look rough with DJ Uyunglele at quarterback, but I would pick Clemson to beat them right now. Michigan, just like Notre Dame, is always and has always been one of the most overrated teams in the country. But to go on top of that, at least Notre Dame has a quarterback. Michigan doesn't even know who their quarterback is right now. They're having a tryout. That's what really gets to me on this. Michigan at number 4, and they're having quarterback issues? We all know this. You saw it last night with Clemson, and we've talked about this with Cade Klubnik and DJ Ugabadoogie. You're only going as far as your quarterback can take you. Let me know your thoughts on that. Ohio State, they did drop, rightfully so, and you got Alabama number 1 with 44 first place votes, and Georgia at number 2 with 17. For those of you that don't know, Georgia and Ohio State, they flip-flop. Ohio State was 2, now they're 3. I don't have a problem with this. How do we base these rankings? Off of week 1. We can only go off of 1 week. And after 1 week, after seeing what Alabama and Georgia did, they're the top 2 teams in the country. Ohio State, I get it. You beat a top 10 team, and your defense did look better than last year, but you didn't look as good as Georgia. You didn't look as good as Bama. For this person tweeting this out and got over 150 likes, Ohio State shouldn't have dropped. Yes, they should have dropped. 1, they didn't play that good. 2, Georgia looked outstanding. Let me ask you a question. Does anyone right now actually think Ohio State can beat Georgia? I don't. I'll take it a step even farther. If you want to say Georgia right now is the best team in the country, I don't have a problem with that. Stetson Bennett looked amazing. The defense looked great. The offense looked great. Alabama and Georgia right now, personally, I would have Alabama at number 1, Georgia 2, but it's 1A, 1B. The only main difference is Bryce Young is better than Stetson Bennett. We know this. Granted, yes, Stetson Bennett looked good. I'll give credit where it's due. I already did that, but it's only 1 week. Pump the brakes. This is still the same Stetson Bennett where Georgia fans wanted him gone last year. That's my thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts down below. Now, let's get on to the main topic, the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto the video, the LSU crap show. I'm not going over the game. We already did that. We all know how it went. It was crazy. LSU shouldn't even been in the game somehow, some way. They get close to tying it up and the extra point gets blocked. Whether you want to blame Brian Kelly or not, it's not Brian Kelly's fault the punt return dropped 2 punts, and it's not his fault they didn't block on extra points. Although I don't think Brian Kelly is the greatest coach in the world and I'm not a fan of him, you can't really blame that on him. That's on the players. Anyway, speaking of players, that leads me to my next point perfectly. we got to talk about their quote-unquote All-American wide receiver, Kayshon Boutte. If you watch this game, you know who Kayshon Boutte is. That's all they were talking about, how this quote-unquote All-American isn't getting the ball. If you're an Alabama fan, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. This Kayshon Boutte kid reminds me a lot of Ajayi Hall for Alabama last year. Ajayi Hall was a 5-star wide receiver for Bama last year who was acting like a diva during the games, and whenever he did get the ball thrown his way, he would drop it. Ajayi Hall had a lot of off-the-field issues that I don't think Kayshon Boutte has currently, but that's besides the point. The point is, on the field, they're acting like drama queens. If you didn't watch this LSU game, to make an extremely long story short, Mr. Kayshon was pissed off he wasn't getting the ball and he wasn't involved in the offense. I get it, that's understandable, but what's not acceptable is throwing a hissy fit and acting like you don't want to be there. It was a terrible look. He was hanging his head, and guess what? The ball got thrown to him a couple of times, and he blatantly dropped it. At least to me, that was arguably one of the biggest storylines of the night. And look what Todd McShay tweeted out after the game. Even he noticed it. I'm dying to know, and we'll find out the real story on what's going on with LSU and its star wide receiver, Kayshon Boutte. LSU's blatant lack of interest in getting him involved in Boutte's obvious frustration was alarming. That's what I'm saying. Anybody with any knowledge, IQ whatsoever, you can tell it was a concern and it's a red flag. And well, guess what happens after the game? On Instagram, on social media, he deletes LSU out of his bio. Takes down all of his LSU pictures. He currently has 0 posts, and all his bio says, "Get Gordon athlete," and hashtag your team matters. I did a little bit more digging though. I was like, okay, is he mad at Jaden Daniels? Because that's what a lot of people thought, and I don't think so, because if you go to his following, he's only following 14 people. He still follows them. If him and Jaden Daniels, which is the quarterback at LSU, they had some beef or misunderstanding, I'm sure he would have unfollowed him, but he didn't. I think this is more of a case where Kayshon Boutte is pissed off at LSU and Brian Kelly. That's what I think, because Jaden Daniels was trying to get him the ball. Maybe it was something going on with the play calling. I don't know, but here's what I do know. Just like Todd McShay said, it was concerning when I was watching it live. Check this out though. About 7 or 8 hours ago, Brian Kelly stated about Kayshon, quote unquote, he's the least guy I'm concerned about on our offense. Is that a good sign? I mean, I don't really think so. It's just saying that he's not worried about him because he knows he's good. But hold on, it gets even worse though, because Malik Neighbors, aka the guy who fumbled 2 punt returns, he deleted all his posts as well. I'm not too sure if he even posted anything in the first place, but everyone's saying he had stuff and then he deleted it. So maybe he didn't post stuff, but all I can tell you right now is he has 0 posts. Whoa, hold on. Maybe you didn't think that was so bad. Well, check this out. It gets 2 times worse. One of LSU's star defensive linemen, who was supposed to have a breakout year, Mason Smith, tore his ACL and now he's out for the year. How did he tear his ACL? And I'm sure many of you might have saw this live. He was the guy who got hurt celebrating a tackle. Yes, that is right. You heard me correctly. He was celebrating a tackle. Wasn't even on a live play and he got hurt. Whenever I saw this live as a person who has torn 2 ACLs, I immediately knew it. I was like, well, dang, that's a tough way to tear your ACL, celebrating a play that didn't even matter. I have a serious question. Please answer this in the comment section for me. Can it get any worse than this? Your star wide receiver, All-American wide receiver at that, doesn't want to be there. Your star defensive lineman, he's out for the year. Your other wide receiver can't field a punt return. Your offensive line can't block. You can't kick a field goal without it getting blocked. It just continues to go on and on and on. Look, I'll be the first to tell you, it's a process. If I was an LSU fan, I wouldn't freak out. Look at Nick Saban when he got to Alabama in that first year. They lost to Louisiana Monroe and went 7-6. Nobody in their first year, especially in the SEC and SEC West, is going to go out there and go 11-1. Even Kirby Smart went 8-5. I don't care about all this transfer portal, name, image, and likeness, none of that. It's going to take time. Here's what I will say though. Although it is a process, it is an ugly process at this given moment. Oh man, we'll see what happens. I am curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But what I was saying, what do I believe?